the one feature that I love so much about this phone, and oh my god, you don't understand how well this works, like it actually blows my mind every time I use it, was the... Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. 1 year ago, I got my brand new iPhone 14 Pro. I even made an unboxing video with a little review attached to it. And after 6 months, I also made another review. And in today's video, I'm going to give my 1 year review of my iPhone 14 Pro. And later on, I will talk about some of the new iPhone 15 and 15 Pro features, and if I think it's worth the upgrade or not. So the first feature that I love about the iPhone 14 Pro has to be the dynamic islands that you can see right here. I'll show you a list on the side of my screen, I'll come to the side a bit, about everything that you can do with the dynamic island. So the first thing is, if you have your AirPods connected, it will show you that it's connected, and also if you press onto it, you can see the actual battery percentage of the AirPods. If you have any other Bluetooth type headphones or earphones, it also works the same. I know with my Bluetooth headphones, when I have them connected, I can press onto it and it will show me how much battery percentage is left on my headphones, which is really good. This next one is actually kind of really cool because if my battery has dropped down to like 20%, instead of having that annoying notification that's in the middle of the screen, it will pop out of the dynamic island saying that you have 20% battery left, and you can choose to press onto it, and it will say if you want to press like low power mode on, which is really good if you're on airplane mode and you open an app that needs like the Wi-Fi or data, it will pop out of the dynamic island and it will say open settings. You need to, because you can't use this app without it. These next two ones are actually really cool. If you have music playing, you can actually see the album cover of the song and like a little sound wave next to it on the other side. The color of the sound waves is actually the same color as the album cover, so that's like a cool little hidden detail. And if you press onto it, you can choose to pause, play it, go to the next song, or go skip back to the previous song. You can also skim through any part of the song. If you have a timer going, you can actually see the timer, the countdown. Yet again, if you don't want to see, you can just swipe it away or bring it back out to see the actual countdown of the timer. If you have more than one app using the dynamic island, it will share it like separately. So if you have the music and the timer playing, you can see the music mainly going out, and also you can see a little bubble of the time and get rid of it. And if you have voice memos, it will just come out of the screen so you can just see it. And if you tap onto it, it will bring out the app that it's using. And screen recordings. And there's also a game that you can actually play called Hit the Island. I'm pretty sure there's more games you can play with it, but that's the only one that I've found that's actually kind of fun to play sometimes. And you use the dynamic island as like a little board, and you like move it around, and you can like try to hit the dynamic island to then win a point. The more points you get, the better. I'm pretty sure there are other games that you can play with the dynamic island, but that's just the one that I've played with. So that's all the things you can do with the dynamic island, which is a lot. There's even more things you can do, but that's just all the things that I've noticed and used. Now I'm going to talk to you about every single feature that I loved about this phone. And some of the features have been around since the 13, the 12, and the 11, but I'm mainly comparing it to my iPhone XS, which came out in 2018. Let's just start off with the feature that I love the most, the always on display. So let's just open my lock screen. If I turn it off, you can see the always on display is on. I also have a MagSafe battery pack. You have the vroom sound, which is really satisfying. As well as, I recently got this, which is a MagSafe wallet. It just sticks to your phone. If you have a MagSafe like case, which you can see that little white ring on, it just sticks on there. It's really strong. Like, I've actually tried to take it off. It literally won't come off. It's so strong. I love MagSafe so much. The battery life is a lot better on this phone versus my old one. It now has an all-day battery life of like 23 hours, and it actually does like live up to the expectation, because there has been a few times where I've actually forgotten to put my phone on charge, and the next day I'm still using it and it still lasts throughout the whole day. Face ID is a lot faster compared to my old phone. You can now unlock your phone in landscape mode, which you couldn't do before. Also, I haven't actually needed to use this, but it also works with if I have a face mask on. We don't need to use face masks anymore, but that would have been really handy back in like 2020. Also, the screen is a lot bigger, so, well, not a lot bigger, but this is 5.8 inches diagonally, and this one is 6.1 inches diagonally, so it's a little bit bigger. But also, because of the dynamic island versus the notch, it does make the phone feel a lot bigger anyway, so that's a plus. Now going on to the cameras, because the cameras is the most exciting part of getting the new phone. The one feature that I love so much about this phone was the night mode feature, and oh my god, you don't understand how well this works. Like, it actually blows my mind every time I use it. Even like the other day when I used it, taking a photo of my bedroom, just like with no light, I can actually see the detail and the colors in the painting. Like, no, the quality isn't great, but you can actually see the detail. It blows my mind because like there's no light coming in my room except for the little light that's coming from my window from like the moonlights. I even took a photo of the southern lights in Tasmania. I remember I took a photo, I even took a screen recording and posted a TikTok about it, but I made like a 30-second exposure on my tripod of the southern lights in Tasmania. And the photo, you could see the southern lights, which is insane. I couldn't even see it with my own eyes, and posted it on TikTok, and it's now my most viewed video on TikTok. It's at 12.9 million views, which is insane. The macro camera is actually using the ultra wide lens, and you can see such close up to like small details. I've taken photos of like leaves and like plants and like even my own eyeball. You can see the detail of my freaking eye. Like, that's insane that a phone camera can take such good high quality photos. The 12 megapixels selfie camera, so you actually get like you get this little option here, and you get a slightly wider shot. So if you're taking photos with like a group of friends or like a cool scenery and you need to get like a slightly better shot and your arm isn't long enough, you can press this little button, you get so much more in frame. Another few little features that I also love is that I finally got the ultra wide angle lens. My old phone had two cameras, but it's the regular wide camera and the telephoto lens, which means you can get like further, like zoom in further away. But this one finally got the ultra wide lens, which is this one right here, which means I finally got to use my ultra wide angle lens that I never had. I can finally take my 0.5 selfies, which I've always been doing ever since I got this phone, which is just, it's so fun to do. There is also one more thing I need to talk about, which is action mode. I have talked about it a bit more into detail with my 6-month review, so you can definitely watch that one. But if you don't know what action mode is, you get like a gimbal-like stabilization on your phone. I mean, the quality of the stabilization is also already really good, but you can choose to have this little action button and it just like stabilizes it perfectly. So if you're taking a video while you're running and trying to make it look cinematic, it will automatically like stabilize the footage, and it works really well. So that's all the things that I loved about the phone, mainly camera stuff, but yeah, so many cool things, especially the dynamic island. It's actually really insane how cool you get like a new like way to experience like using a phone. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the things that I actually didn't like about this phone, and I feel like I wouldn't be honest about having like a honest kind of review if I didn't say the things I didn't like. The first thing was the camera glitch. When I was unboxing my phone and kind of like making sure it was set up properly, like everything was like transferred from my old phone to the new one, I opened up Snapchat. The camera actually started to shake violently. Like, it was starting to like, I was like, what the hell is that? And then I started recording because I was like, I could see it through my screen. And then I turned around, I was like looking at it, and I could actually see the camera was shaking. Like, the camera was actually shaking, and you could see it through the recording. I actually got it on camera. And yeah, that was just a bit annoying, and it was really scary because it was like literally not even like 1 hour old before like I had this really weird glitch. But I found a few people having the same experience where their iPhone 14 Pro, the camera was glitching and shaking like on camera, but it only worked on Snapchat, Instagram and TikTok as well. And I saw a bunch of YouTube videos about it and TikToks, and they said if you have experienced this, to send it to Apple and they will replace it for free. And also a few other little glitches I've noticed with the camera itself has been when you do take photos, it does automatically edit the photos. In some situations, it does edit the photos in a really bad way, and the only way that I learned how to fix that or like stop the auto edit is to either take a screenshot before it automatically edits the photo, or to take the photo in burst mode. That's the only way I can figure it out how to fix the problem, but it's just kind of annoying because I wish there was a way to turn it off. Another thing is that the focus range is like further back. So if I take a photo, let me just screen record this on my iPhone XS. Okay, so I'm going to open the camera and I'm going to try and take a photo of my bedside table. You can't see it. This is my bedside table. But if I go like, before it starts to go out of focus, so like it's about there. Yeah, before it goes out of focus, it's about like that much of a distance, right? Before it like the desk goes out of focus. So if I go too close to it, it will be out of focus, right? But if I do the same thing on my iPhone 14 Pro, the focus is a lot further away. And like, yeah, you do get the macro camera. So if I switch the camera, it will let me go like really close up. See how it focused. But without it, it's not like that same distance. It's not letting me focus. I have to pull it back a little bit more. That's like a long way before it focuses. That's like half the distance before I can actually focus on something. And for someone like an average user, you probably would not really notice or care, but it means that if I'm trying to like scan something or take a photo, I actually have to go further back than what you would need to, then like closer up where the quality is better. So I don't know, it's just a few little things like that. When I'm using the camera for photos or videos, whether I'm taking photos or not, it does drain the battery like a lot more. So that's like the only reason why I got that MagSafe battery pack, because when I'm vlogging on my phone, the battery does drain a lot, so I do need that extra bit of juice. And one last thing, I don't want to go into too much detail, and there's nothing that you can really do about it, is that there is no more 3D touch. They killed it with the iPhone 11, so the iPhone XS was the last iPhone with 3D touch. It means that the screen is like pressure sensitive, so if I put my finger on the torch button, you can see that I'm not lifting my finger, I'm like pressing on the screen. That's like pressure sensitive. It actually knows if I'm pressing the screen versus like touching it. But on this phone, if I do that exact thing, I won't be able to, you know, I'm trying to press on it, it will just, if I let go, I turn off, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only way I can kind of show that the screen is actually pressure sensitive versus just like haptic touch. But there's so many things you could have done with 3D touch, and they got rid of it. And I've talked a bit more about it into detail in my 6-month review, so I don't want to talk about it again. So now I'm going to talk about the features that I thought would be like really cool and life-changing and amazing, but then once I tested it, it's like didn't really live up to the expectation, or I completely forgot about it. So yeah, the first thing that I have on my list is this little LiDAR scanner. So if you can actually see, there's a little dot right here. That is called a LiDAR scanner. So I thought it was gonna be like really cool because it like basically acts as like a depth sensing map. So it knows the foreground versus the background. So you can use it for like making 3D scans of like random objects or your room or your house. I've actually did take a 3D scan of my whole house because you can do that, which is I guess kind of cool, but you have to download a separate app to be able to use that feature. And also I thought it'd be really cool for photography, like sensing like the depth, like the foreground versus the background for like portrait mode, which is what it was advertised as. And it's kind of like a letdown what LiDAR scanner, like it has, you have it literally in every Pro model, so you thought you would be able to do like a lot of cool things with it, but it didn't really live up to the expectation. Another thing is the 48 megapixel camera, which is on the 14 Pro only, and I think now the 15s. Despite it being like really good quality, don't get me wrong, the quality is insane, it doesn't really live up to the expectation because you don't really notice the good quality unless you like crop into the image or zoom in and you have like a side-by-side comparing it to like the 12 megapixels, but also the storage is higher as well. I took one photo of a waterfall. So this one is taking a live photo of 12 megapixels, and if I go to the information, it's only taking up 4.8 megabytes of storage. But if I go to the one of the Apple Pro Raw in 48 megapixels, it's taking up 111 megabytes for one singular photo. So that's why I don't really use the 48 megapixels that much, because it takes up so much storage. Other than that, it's not that great. Another thing that I thought was going to be really cool, especially in the camera app, is cinematic mode, which is basically portrait mode but for video. Now, it does work well, but not the best. And also there hasn't really been any times where I needed to take a video and have like a blurry background like on purpose, because the regular camera, like especially the front camera, is already like really good. So if I'm ever taking videos like for YouTube, like when I'm vlogging, you already get like a natural blurry background versus like a purposely blurry background, if that makes any sense. So another thing that has been around since the iPhone 13s was photographic styles. Most of these are actually camera features, I realized. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm taking a photo with the photographic style. So if I open it up, and I go to, if I swipe up and press this little button here with the like little edits, like some of them you might want a little bit more tone, a little bit more warm, a little bit more cool. And it's not really like a filter, it's more like a preset of like photos, because if I take a photo with it and go into the photo, I can't undo it. So if I go to edits, I can't like undo the edit. This is like a permanent what the photo will look like. And in some cases, I guess it looks cool, but there hasn't been any times where I've actually needed to have this cool preset. I don't think anyone else has ever needed to use this, or probably even didn't even realize it existed. I've just completely forgot about this feature until I was literally like playing this video. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Anyways, let's talk about the iPhone 15s. Hey guys, so I forgot to film the rest of this video when I was recording this video, so I'm gonna do it now, a week later. Anyways, let's quickly talk about the iPhone 15 Pros, the action button. So you have replaced the silent switcher with a button that you can press, and you can choose to open the camera, you can turn the torch on, you can do a shortcut which you can then customize to do whatever you want, like turn your lights on or open the TV or I don't know, whatever else, which I guess is pretty cool. But you can also just choose to have it as the silent switcher. Now the edges of the phone is titanium instead of stainless steel, but once you put a case on it, you won't even know that you have the titanium color, so it doesn't really matter, and it's not really a feature, it's just like there. It also comes in USB-C, which I guess is a good thing, because now you can just say to anyone, hey, do you have a phone charger, instead of, hey, do you have an iPhone charger, and hope that they have an iPhone as well, so you can use the lightning cable. Auto portrait mode feature, which now you can take a normal photo in the normal camera app without switching it to portrait mode, and then later on you can choose to edit that photo in portrait mode, like have the blurrier background. You have now 24 megapixel cameras instead of a 12 megapixel default camera, so you can choose to have the 48 megapixels to have the better high quality if you want to, but now your default camera in not 48 is now 24, which is double the 12 megapixels before. Does that mean the storage is going to be double as well? Is it going to be like 10 to 20 megabytes per photo? I don't know. Other than that, there's really no other features that I've noticed on the phone, so I think I'm just going to keep this phone for as long as it lasts. This phone, the iPhone XS, lasted me 4 years, and even up to the 4th year mark, there wasn't really anything wrong with the phone. I just kind of like wanted to upgrade, and hopefully in total I can have it for 5 years. That's my goal, is to have this phone last 5 years, because that's a long time, so that's only another 4 more years. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It would really help my channel out. And if you follow me on Instagram, we are friends and I need more friends. So if you follow me, we are instantly friends. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.